Key disability programs are set to be cut or even eliminated shortly after the midterms. The latest budget proposed by the orange-faced monster will eliminate most social programs in favor of conducting needless wars and, of course, supporting ICE. So I'm Annette Bourbonnais from Nothing Without Us, Stories and Discussions of Meaningful Inclusion. I am a 70-ish-year-old woman with dark-rimmed eyeglasses and wearing a black and white shirt and sitting in a power wheelchair. Please take the time to free subscribe if you've not already done so. Share this episode and leave some comments. I read all the comments, and if you send them with this program on the platform, it really makes a difference in how this podcast can grow. So while many cuts are part of the big ugly bill, they were set to take place after the midterms. After all, the orange-faced monster doesn't want too many Democrats to be elected, putting him at risk of being the only president to be impeached 3 times. So he thought by having these cuts take place after the midterms, it would make a difference. Of course, we know they're coming. So he has, though, since requested even more funding to support the brutality of his deportation program. So, although I'm still trying to figure out if his goal is to deport people, why is he looking for more cages or warehouses or torture chambers for them? In reality, that's what he's doing. So finally, the Senate stood up to him and refused to fund ICE, but instead refused to fund additional funds for ICE, but insisted on releasing funds for other parts of DHS, including the TSA. Now, I'm not sure if they funded the Coast Guard or FEMA yet. Hurricane season is on the way. Of course, MAGA Mike used his one and only move, close Congress, another paid vacation to our lawmakers. So now that the OFM has started a war that nobody wanted and that has increased his need to spend money on anything but the American population, we are in more trouble. He seems to think that the only thing we need money for is war, or what he calls military protection. Of course, we wouldn't have to do that if he didn't alienate all our allies and then start a totally unnecessary war. He is the reason we are vulnerable now. He is the last person we should listen to for a solution. Now, according to an article by Michelle Diamond in Disability Scoop, his plan for financing domestic issues is to close his eyes to it, to say we can't afford to feed the poor, provide healthcare, education, or take care of the American people. He plans to eliminate the Administration for Community Living, which provides research and services for people with disabilities. Some functions will be absorbed by other agencies, but the long-term effects of these moves cannot be overstated. When systems are dismantled, they can't just be put back up. It takes time to rebuild, sometimes years. From the time these systems are dismantled until they are fully rebuilt, people with disabilities, people who will have future disabilities, people in general will suffer. Other programs on the chopping block include eliminating preschool funds and IDEA programs. Even if these programs are put back, the effect on children with disabilities and other children will be lifelong. Other cuts include vocational rehabilitation, doing away with grants for supported employment, client assistance, training, and a protection and advocacy program that ensures the legal rights of individuals with disabilities. Now, he did make a similar proposal last year that was supposed to be part of the big ugly bill, and Congress rejected it. Congress must realize there can be no compromise on it this year either. The damage resulting from cuts like these proposed by the OFM will be lifelong for some people. will be life-threatening for some, will be intolerable for many. So I am pushing for the disability population to take the lead on creating change. We cannot afford for others to do it for us. When others do it for us, we lose because they don't have a grip on the real life consequences for us. When people create change for us and don't understand the consequences, we lose. People with disabilities lose, and the entire population of this country loses because they will not have what we have to offer. Because yes, we have value. We need to stand on that. Oh, maybe stand isn't the right word, is it? But we need to hold firm on that, feel empowered by that. We must recognize our own power so we can use it for disability justice, for environmental justice, racial justice, civil justice, no matter what. Please make sure you register to vote and get that vote in on time, whether by mail, through a drop box, or in person on election day. This is our superpower. We all have it, but it doesn't do us any good unless we use it. So this year is the year for the midterm elections. And for Rhode Island, that means it's the year all of our state legislators and senators and governor and secretary of state and attorney general, and treasurer are elected as well. If we want change, we need to inform all of them that they work for us. Yeah, we're the employer. They are our employees. We need to tell them who we are and what we need to make life fair for us. We need elected officials who will listen to us, and we need to tell them what will work and how what will work for us will benefit the state also. So let's make sure everyone who is running in the midterm and state elections knows something about disability, about the problems we face, about policies that need to be reinforced or changed. So in the spirit of the late Alice Wong and her associates Greg Berreton and Andrew Polrang, let's keep Crip the Vote alive. Use that hashtag on social media to make our voices heard. I will run a Crip the Vote sub-series on this podcast for everyone running in Rhode Island to come and talk about disability issues and policies. This includes those running for election or re-election for Congress, Senate, governor, legislature, and local races, all of the offices. So during the 2024 election, I had a pretty decent response to requesting participation from office holders and candidates. I hope for the same or better in 2026. Now, as listeners to Nothing Without Us, you can participate in this, and I hope you do. I really do. Let me know who you want to hear from. What do you want them to know? What questions do you want answered? And let me know if you want to join me in that interview and information session. Nothing Without Us should be a place for many voices to be heard. And while I think I'm pretty much in touch with what goes on with disability issues, I'm sure some of you are going to think of things I do not. If this is to be a lively community, then you should have a seat at the table. And you are now, today, being invited to do so. It is through empowering ourselves that we're going to be able to protect our rights. So let's do it. You can tell me in the comments who you want to hear from, what questions you want asked or issues discussed, and if you would like to join in this interview. Let's make all of our voices heard. I will begin inviting current lawmakers and known candidates in May. This will be nonpartisan, and I will try to include questions and comments you submit, as well as some of my own. The focus of these discussions will be about disability and how laws and policies affect us. Anyone running for office needs to declare by June 24th, so getting started now is not too soon. So thank you for listening. I'm Annette from Nothing Without Us. Please free subscribe to this podcast. You will have access to all the regular and important episodes And you can also make comments, and I do read them all, and share with your friends. Sharing them will help make this podcast grow. While basic subscriptions are free, there are benefits to paid memberships, including early access to some postings, special postings that are going to be only available to paid members, and a monthly live episode to those on the activist tier. My goal is to make this a lively community where voices will be heard. Now, that first live episode is going to be this month. We had a technical problem last month, but we're going to be live at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, April 29, 2026. Sarah Everhart Skeels will join me for a discussion of the disability population as leaders of change. We're going to be offering 3 of these live episodes free of charge for all subscribers, even the free ones. After those 3, access will be available to those on the activist tier and to people who purchase a ticket. But check out the live episodes for free in April, May, and June. Just free subscribe if you haven't already. You can now purchase memberships on an annual basis rather than just on a monthly basis, and you can gift a membership to someone else. So tell your friends they can find this podcast at patreon.com/nothingwithoutus and on YouTube and Spotify. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. So until the next Nothing Without Us, I'm Annette.